Alrighty, so here we are, and we got our boy saplingwiz here against IWillDominate Shyvana. Now, with this matchup in particular, it's very important to consider uh, the dueling prowess that Shyvana has. Basically, Shyvana, after about whenever she gets her Blood Razor or any item power spike, like with Frozen Mallet, uh, whatever she built, Sterex. I'm not even sure what she built 100%. But after her jungle item completion and her second item, like Jerome's Fist. After that, she'll get super strong and be able to really duel anyone in the game uh, as long as they aren't like a duelist per se. So like she could easily go and kill any of the champions that's on your team here. This is actually pretty smart fiddle cheese. He just got impatient. He totally could have gotten it. So pretty basic stuff early on. I'm gonna turn the sound down just a little. It's hurting my ears. So I think this clear is pretty good. You should know that they Dom started red. Now he did an invade clear, or no, he's doing a rubber band. Okay, so Dom's clear is red, blue, Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, and yours are standard level 3, and then do Raptors. I think normally this is pretty fine. It kind of slows a little bit of your tempo down if you do Raptors to Krugs, because you lose a lot of momentum in your clear. It's better for if you want to do a full clear to 6, which is what you should be doing with Warwick. But you can gank level 4, so I think all of this is fine personally. Maybe having Skull Control earlier on might have been more ideal if Shyvana was going to gank, but I guess if Shyvana doesn't really gank either, then this is fine. I think, honestly, Dom's clear is probably what you want to do if you're trying to hit level 6 as quick as possible. Because he did red to blue to Gromp to Wolves to Raptors to Krugs, and he's already done, and you basically have done one camp less. But, I mean, if you get a gank off, I still think it's worth as long as it's favorable. Does he live? Oh, fucking last tick of Airy. God, that's so annoying. Alright, here I think was a mistake. Even if Vlad had Ghost, I think you shoved the lane in his favor. Actually, I might have met in the middle. Hold on, I know stuff is happening. I just want to see where this wave ends up. Alright, no, that's fine. Okay. I was just checking. I thought I saw that before. If you had left the lane alone, I think it would have pushed into the turret. But yeah, okay. So after you shove that, go mid, looking for Xerath. Now, you do win this matchup pre-6, I want to say, because Shyvana doesn't really have enough damage to kill you yet, nor does she have her stacks, her dragon stacks. Alright, Xerath flashed. Wait, was that Xerath? Yeah, it was Xerath. Okay, he went 1-for-1. And this is an example of where the rubber band clear would have worked. And Dom gets a fucking cheesy ass kill there. Burns flash for it though. And you can clean up the wave, you're level 5. Now this does kind of put you at a weird spot where being 6 soon would be in your favor, but you're a few camps away. You'll still be level 5 here, but let's see, you got the plan and Genki bot. I think this is the right call. Yeah, this is perfect timing too. Also Vayne is level 4. Okay, I guess that's even. Alright, target focus. You should be able to finish this. Yeah. Alright. So good stuff, and then like 1 minion or 2. Yeah, oh, called it. Yeah, 1 minion or 2 will get you 6, and now you're in a good spot. Tiamat buy, I think that's a good call for your first back beforehand, because then it'll be able to allow you to clear really quickly. And here's an example of the matchup working in your favor. Yeah, you eat at the perfect time, right when he was trying to get his damage in. So he didn't actually like damage you. You had the same HP as when you started that fight. So okay, now you have 3 kills. That's huge. You don't really have now you're starting to get an experience lead with this clear right here. And because you have Tiamat, you can take Krugs pretty quickly. I think that's what you do. One thing I will note, and one of the things I want you to focus on this game, is that I think it's pretty important that you ward for your laners against Shyvana. And what that means is that when you had that gank bot and you had the pink ward, you could have put it in this pixel brush right here. You could put it in this brush right here. We'll make the cursor pretty small. Here, you could have had it on Dragon, which is pretty good against Shyvana because she'll try to solo that shit sometimes. You could even have it all the way up here on the minimap. And you could have it right here. All these spots are good, mainly because it gives you information on where Shyvana's pathing, and knowing her pathing is particularly important because she'll spend a lot of the game power farming, and if you can track her where she goes on the map, then you should be able to make plays according to where you have her information. But so far you're not inherently behind. You got bot a little bit going, top lane, you at least like got him a kill, and Vlad's able to at least solo Teemo at this point. This is a hard matchup for Vlad come later game, but basically these guys are going to spike a lot later. And the bot lane that's supposed to win early is struggling. Alright. Now you are on the run. Good fear. There you go. Ziggs gets a kill. Still sitting on this pink ward. And also, okay, I saw this earlier too. Gonna keep this up because it keeps going out here. Before we do this play, so you rushed Merc Treads here, and normally Boots Rush isn't entirely favorable. I think on Warwick, there's a case where Warwick it would work out because a lot of it, if you have Tiamat and tier 2 boots, you basically have complete like movement speed priority, and if you're running, I forget what you're running secondary in this game. I don't think it tells you. Let's see, is it sorcery? Because if you're running celerity and the river walking one, then basically you have an insane amount of move speed, and you should be running celerity now that I think about it more, but you could be running resolve. But yeah, before we get to this fight, I need to make the points on the boots. Basically, if you're using Merc Treads here, you're taking away a lot of HP that you would be getting in Bammy Cinder, and I believe that's only 900 gold. So I'm not sure when you did buy if you had enough for Bammies there, but I think Bammies is way more important than Merc Treads here. And I also think that although they have CC with Teemo, not really Shyvana, Xerath, and Fiddlesticks, and Vayne, I guess. I don't know if Mercs is the best option here because all of them are mostly auto attack based except for Xerath. And then you could go Spirit Visage for Xerath and you get that third. Because if you do get the dueling item for, or if you do get in dueling situations, which with Warwick you would be frontlining a lot of the time, and who's going to be hitting you during then, it's going to be Shyvana and Vayne for the most part. So I think Tabby's here would have been a little bit better, especially since Teemo also does auto attack based damage. So I think that Tabby's would have been the best purchase here, but I think I would have rather gone the Bammy, or would have liked to see the Bammy Cinder here. Mostly because you're losing a fair amount of HP. And that's just kind of like an estimate here. So now let's look at this play. So first of all, great flash. Good setup for a kill here. You get slightly over aggressive. And he didn't have a ward, to be fair, but that's a bummer that you couldn't finish that off. Or Ziggs couldn't finish that off, rather. I do like the aggressiveness with that play, especially because you shut down Xerath, or at least kill Xerath. But the issue is that you're giving a death away, and basically you're up against someone who knows what they're doing. He's a former professional jungler, and honestly probably could at least hang in the challenger scene. So I don't think that giving away any windows for opportunity to IWillDominate is in your favor. But I like the aggressiveness of that play. I'm not saying you shouldn't be going for those plays, but now what you're looking to go for in these next couple of plays here is to set up control around your lanes. Because right now you're in a position where first turret hasn't been taken, and you have a Ziggs who's probably going to take it now. Yeah, he's going to take first turret here. And I think setting up dragon control is the right move. And also, now you're at the point, too, where Shyvana can duel you with his Jerome's Fist. I'm just going to call it Jerome's Fist. And Blood Razor. So now he should be able to duel you at any point. So keeping vision around major objectives is probably your plan. Which you still have held onto this pink ward, and your trinket's up. Alright, we got a gank on Teemo. I'm not sure why you didn't lead with Q. I'm not sure if that was on cooldown or not. Use that pink ward up there. I don't know if this would have mattered, but Dom was ready for that counter gank, and it worked out. Now you can see, like, Dom wasn't really ganking a whole lot early game, and when he did go aggressive early in your jungle over here, where you got this kill, it didn't pay off for him. It actually set him behind a fair amount. It gave you the lead, pretty much. And now he's at the point where he's power spiking, and he could gank you there. And so, you know, there's the argument that, whoops, fuck, didn't mean to press that. There's the argument where in this scenario which you were, you know, walking down, you were clearing the wave, and then you came down here. You know, hindsight's 20/20. It's like you could have gone that way, but if you're in a position where you know that Shyvana can kill you at any point in the game, you should be playing in the jungler's head and anticipating his mid game moves. And I also think if there was more vision control around this area, like I said with that pink earlier, it would have helped you at least start controlling your lanes better. But it's kind of hard to say. Another major thing in this lane here is that this lane has kind of extended a little bit too long. And I personally think that's because you don't want to pair Janna with Jhin. I think that's a really poor combo. I mean, it could work. Don't get me wrong, Janna's strong, but mainly this lane needs to end, because the longer this lane goes, the easier it is for Vayne to win it, essentially. And although, like, she's still, like, not in a great spot to win, like, come out ahead in a 2v2, basically you want to try to end it as quick as you can, because that allows Vayne to scale harder. So this is the right move here. There you go, and try to give the kill away. Somehow Janna gets it with Ignite, which is unfortunate. Ideally, you would have wanted mid to shove and then to push this turret. Let's see. There's a mistiming. That was close. Also to point out, the experience lead is starting to hurt you a little bit, because you're going to be behind experience because he killed you up here and then was able to farm a little bit more. But he's pretty much a full level on you. So this is starting to get a little bit out of your control in this scenario here. It's kind of tough to say, like, what's the correct move here, because here now you have to give blue away. And now you kind of have to do either a full clear or try to see if you can get a pick to at least try to catch up, because Dom's doing the same thing as you. He's still farming. So you're not gaining any inherent leads right now. And now you reveal himself, so Shyvana knows, yeah, basically, because you went to go and clean up this farm here, and also you went for a gank when Dom went for a gank here, Dom was able to clear a little bit more and then anticipate your next move when you showed mid. Usually it's fine to clean up the CS in this scenario here, but if you have your red up or any major buffs up, and you don't know where the enemy jungler is, which, because there's no vision control, is really easy. And then you get in a scenario like this, Dom's waiting for you, you're farming raptors. Okay, I think this is where you're saying the micro error happened. You tried to Q smite and you fucking 31 HP, which is unfortunate. But yeah, now this hurts you more than a lot of like the other mistakes. Basically, this one here just completely set the tempo in Dom's favor for the time of the game where he's the strongest. I mean, he'll be a little bit stronger after he completes Frozen Arc, but he's able to, one, get a full clear of his bot side, steal your red, and then get a full blue side clear. So he's going to be massively ahead while you're still level 9. And now you're going to go for a mid gank here. This is really close. I think this is fine. I don't know if I would chase after this. Trying to force him backwards. Ziggs whiffs. Yeah, the jungle mid synergy this game was a bit unfortunate. I think you still get out though. You flash. The Merc Treads probably saved you there, to be fair. I knocked down the Merc Treads earlier and they probably saved your life here. But now you're even more behind because the gank didn't work. Now Shyvana gets to farm a little bit more. And it's at this point in the game here where you have lost your jungle control and pressure. The sequence of 2 minutes where you had... What the fuck? Wow, that's so annoying. When you had this gank bottom, and then you went back into your jungle to get blue, and then Ziggs died, you showed mid, and then Dom was able to get the smite. And I don't think the smite alone is what lost you the game. I think it was one of the contributing factors to it, but it was mostly because Dom was able to farm a whole lot during this portion, and then you went for a gank mid, it failed, and then he got a kill from that. And so now he basically has this game in the bag. And I mean, it's still reviewable though. I mean, here's the thing, you were like the only Fed member in this game, and yeah, you have 5 kills, and bot lane's kind of struggling. Top lane keeps going 1-for-1, but basically Vlad is kind of going to get outscaled here once Timo gets a few items. Although Vlad does like okay into this matchup. In this gank, you get counter ganked super hard. I wouldn't go for the gank afterwards, especially how low Jhin is. Is Jhin even here? No, he's dead. What happened to Jhin? Oh, did he get fucking fiddlesticks? Alright, so he's low. They had some wonky trade. You get level 10 off this. You run down. Oh, Jin's an idiot. Honestly, after the fear, I wouldn't even go for this. I want to see how well Dom read this gank out, because you die here. But without Jhin, you don't really have any follow-up. But at the same time, it was kind of weird how he died. So it was just kind of one of those scenarios where you weren't necessarily ready for the present. But it looks like Dom actually read this gank coming pretty damn well. Yeah, he's anticipating it. He didn't have any vision to spot you either. That's just his jungle sense was better. And that's a lot of jungling, is being at the right place at the right time. And I was a Curse and Liquid, and still am a Liquid fan. And when Dom was on Curse, that was basically Dom's strong suit. That he was very good at control jungling, essentially being in the right place, the right time. It's just like a brief summary of it. But essentially now you've really like struck out here. This dragon that's also been up for a while is yeah, the dragon was up for a really long time. Could have been taken earlier, but you didn't have any lane priority really, so I don't really blame you for that one. We're also still sitting on a control ward. Janet takes a kill. I don't know if that would have mattered in the grand scope of things. Whenever I change the speed or like reset it, it always changes Shyvana back. But yeah, Shyvana's at her fucking huge power spike now. There's no way you can deal with her. There you go, you drop the pink there. I think that's a pretty good spot for it. I would maybe have it up a little higher. Alright, so we go for like a pick here. Everyone whiffs more or less. I think you can still chase it down. Yeah, you got it. Our Gen has it. Alright, there you go. Oh, whoops. Okay. Alright, so you saved. It looks like you sacrifice yourself for Jhin. Yeah, that's a tough one. You guys kind of went for a pick engage on Fiddle there, if we go back. And then kind of overcommitted because you guys were behind and you needed to greed in order to get the kills. So like once at this point here, wait a minute, you're invisible. There you are. What the hell? That was weird. But yeah, after you went for this engage, Dominate was able to just fuck everyone up. And now you're just kind of like a sitting duck here. So after you guys went for that huge pick and went for the follow-up, you guys just had to, as a team, you had to commit to that, or you had to completely disengage. And after the pick, where you guys had the Ziggs ult right here, I think that you could have chased, but you guys should have been ready for Dom to show up. Because now you're at the elo where junglers aren't just going to be dicking around and just farming Krugs, or, I don't know, like, I mean, he could still solo Rift, but, like, at this point here, he just has so much control over your jungle, and you started, like, 5-1. After you killed Xerath here with that flash play, and now you've died 3 straight times. Not entirely because you're like you made mistakes, but mostly because you guys couldn't transition your lead, and Dominate made the smarter play at the end of the day. So the best thing you can do here is go for a chase on somebody who's out of position, and then hope that they can't collapse on time. Like in this scenario, this would be terrible. Jesus. Yeah, now you have to ult away, you lose more control of your jungle, and now you're 2 levels behind. I mean, like, we could go over the rest of this game, but how much would it do? You guys want a little fight here? We should probably just watch this. So I forgot what happened to Dom. I guess he reset and kept farming. But this isn't going to give you a ton of XP. I mean, it's going to give you XP enough to probably level up, but Dom is fucking farming everything. He's level 14, year 11. He'll be 12 after Krugs, but losing levels to a Shyvana is one of like the hardest things you can do, or worst things you can do, but it's pretty easy for it to happen if you don't play a power farming champion. And this is a good pick here. I think you guys get him. This is a pretty tough position you're in. Oof. You know what? To be fair, I also, when I first watched this, I thought he was totally gonna go into you. I mean, this isn't a terrible trade. Let's see, 1 for 2 right now. It did look like he was gonna go, she was gonna crit you there, or all in. And then you could have gotten crit. But now you're at the point where you're building Deadman's Plate, and while I agree that's the right armor item, if you had tabbies here, you could have gone Spectre's Cowl into an armor item like Bramble, Randuin's. With Shyvana, she's not really going to build crit, so just Deadman's Plate would probably work the best. Bramble wouldn't be terrible, but it wouldn't give you enough HP. Although you have a lot of HP with Spectre's Cowl, so I think Bramble might have been a pretty good bet, because then you could turn that into, if you had the cowl, you could turn it into Spirit Visage, gives you more healing. We're gonna take 2 Ocean Drags. And I'm just gonna skip ahead here for time's sake, because now you're level 13, dominates 14, which is, you kind of climb back a little bit, but now you really need to be establishing vision control here. And you guys flash. One for one. I'm not sure if he didn't have it up yet. I want to check. Alright, so you don't have your E up yet. Yeah, because you probably want to be doing it now. And you had it up, or you used it the second you had it up, so you just didn't have it up for that fight. And then they're able to probably take Baron off of this, I'm guessing. But they already have an in it. Jesus. Okay, well, it looks like they just are able to snowball everything off of this. Alright, I have seen enough. So basically, here's what I want you to take away from this is, and I know you don't play a ton of Warwick, as you said, is one, the Shyvana matchup. So right now, Shyvana's like really good because of press the attack, which is getting nerfed. But whenever you're playing against Shyvana, you really want to be considering her power spikes and her mid-game power spike in particular. Playing around that is essentially what's going to lead you to win, but you also need to be considering when you can take 2v2s, and a lot of that is knowing where she is on the map, and so vision control is a bigger priority in that matchup, so that's something to consider when you're playing against her. Number 2, item choices. And I don't necessarily like strongly disagree with what you chose to build there, but if you really want to stay ahead in this game and continue to climb, one of the bigger parts is considering item efficiency and really having the thought process of knowing what would be the most optimal to build there, because there was like some scenarios early game where if you had the extra HP, you probably would have been able to kill them, and the move speed on Warwick, you don't necessarily need the Merc Treads to, get that extra movement speed. It's not going to be the difference maker. So item choices, I think, is a thing you could work on, and then maybe also let's think about this. I would say let's look at discipline. To commit. Or overcommit in this case. And there's a lot of scenarios where you went for a gank, you got some spells out, like summoner spells, like kill, and then you kept chasing, and then that ended up costing you. And that's a really easy trait or occurrence in solo queue, because you're gonna have people wanting to kill for to be able to push advantages. But when you're behind, sometimes the best thing to do is just get like 1 or 2 things out early, like summoner spells, quick kill, etc., because basically it's really easy to overcommit because you want to turn the game around and win it. And overcommitting a lot of times when you guys are behind really comes out and kicks you in the ass. And I think in this scenario, there's a few kills later in the game, or when you were chasing bot lane and then Shyvana counter ganked you. There's a few kills around this area right here where you overcommitted, and it wasn't just you this game because your teams kind of played the lanes a little bit poorly. But the reason why Dom won this game wasn't because Shyvana did have a pretty big part in it, as you could tell by her score. But Dom won this game because he had the better jungle sense, like counter ganks, kind of just understanding when he could take fights and when he can clear. And a good example of that is how he did the rubber band red to blue to Krugs clear, or where he takes all these camps in between. And by him doing that clear, it allowed him to get a really early back to get the skirmish saber and be able to turn around and gank once he hit level 6 or 7. And when he did go aggressive, when you had a lead, is when you were able to find your advantage. And the way he transitioned that is he used experience, clear, and information he had on you to eventually make a play around here at red buff where he was able to eventually snowball a lead, get a double kill, or just one kill. He able to get a kill here, continue farming, and then completely take over mid game. And it's hard to just give you advice to be like, oh, this is what you need to do to win the game and get better as a jungler. But it's understanding why he was able to get those, or why he made those choices is how he ended up winning the game. And understanding that takes a lot of time. But I don't think what you did this game was extraordinarily bad. It was just like you got a little bit lazy in the part of the game where you needed to be more prepared for Shyvana. I guess that's kind of a way to summarize the game. So, yeah, I hope this helped you, man. I love your hunger and your fire to improve. It's very refreshing to a lot of the coaching videos I do. So I hope this helped you, and if you guys are watching this, I hope this helped you as well. So have a good day, guys.